All right, here we are. Number 7, Algebra Chapter 4, Practice Test. The key to this test, right? If you can do this problem, you can do anything on this test, all right? So, Josh, help me out here. What do I got to do first? Listen. All right, there we go. Second, I'm going to move everything over. Okay? I want to collect all like terms if there are any, but this is a number, this is an X, and this is a Y, right? So I can't collect any of those. X's go with X's, Y's go with Y's, and numbers go with numbers. So there's nothing that I can add up, right? So I'm going to move my number and my X to the other side. Okay? That's your first step. So we're in that transition mode, right? It's going from PIMDOS, no, I can't add anything, I can't multiply anything, right? So I go to transition. So before I can do SADMAP, right? Before I can solve for Y, that's your whole key. You want to solve for Y, then you use Y equals MX plus B. That's what you do every single time, okay? All right, so how do you solve for Y? In transition, what do we do?
You put the Y first.
Yeah, put the Y first and move everything else by either subtraction property of equality or addition property of equality. You guys don't know that term, but we do know SADMAP. So by SA, right? So we're going to subtract or add whatever's being had here. So right here, we got to subtract the 12, right? Because it's positive 12. But here it's a negative X, right? So we're going to add the X. And instead of doing it in 2 steps, I find it's easier to just do it in 1. Now look at this. Check this out. What comes first? The chicken or the egg? He's so funny. No, the X or the number. The X or no X?
The egg.
The X. Right? So we might as well just line them up as X first anyways, right? So, boom. These cancel. That's your whole point. We're trying to get the Y by itself. Negative, now that's the whole Y. Negative 12Y equals what? Well, whatever this number is, or if it was 5X, whatever's over there, you add to it. Does that make sense? Okay, so there's nothing there, it's a 0. So therefore, it's just going to be 3X minus 12, right? Now we're almost there. What do we do next? How do I get Y alone? First of all, what step was that? So this was given, right? So the first step was given. What's the red step? What did we do? SA. That's right. So we use the SA opposite, right? So, switch it up to purple. Now what? To get Y alone, what are we doing to the Y? Yeah, the Y it's 12 times Y, right?
You're dividing.
So we're going to divide. There you go. Always the opposite, right? So SADMAP, but then it's going to be DM, right? So we already know what we're doing, and then we do it. Divide by negative 12. Divide by negative 12. Divide by negative 12. You have to divide everything by negative 12. Does that make sense? Everything. Okay. So these cancel. Bloop, bloop, right? So I get Y is equal to. Now, here's the trippy part. You could reduce this before you bring it down. See, I'm trying to teach you steps that will help you, okay? So what goes into 3 and 12? 1, yeah. What else goes into 3 and 12?
3.
3. Okay, so I'm going to pull out a 3. 3 goes into 3 how many times? Once. 3 goes into negative 12 how many times?
Negative 4.
Perfect. Right? And then negative and a negative makes a
Positive.
12 divided by 12?
1.
Boom. And now you have your y equals mx plus b. So what's our next step?
Wait, what is it?
The
Oh.
definition of y equals mx plus b. So what we're doing is we're saying, hey, y equals mx plus b, right? So now we're going to go, hey, I'm going to take this. This is m. M is equal to 1 over negative 4. Or what? What's another way to write that?
M equals negative 1 over 4.
Good. Or m equals negative 1 over 4. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, then what? What is b? 1. So b equals 1. Where do we start? Yeah, we start, right, at b. b equals 1. That is your y-intercept, okay? Your y-intercept. So you go to y, and you go to 1, and you put a dot there. It's not that hard, right? From there, we're going to go look at the green one. Now, from the definition of slope, we know that a positive 1 over a negative 4, right, is equal to up 1 and left 4, okay? Because negative, remember, this is right or left. If it's negative, we're going to go left. This is up or down. If it's positive, we're going up. That's all. Okay? Right, Robert? This is where we're missing it. Where's your homework? Carlos? Come on, guys. Come in late. I want you getting your stuff out. I want you doing the work. Okay? We can do this. This is not hard. I'm going to go up 1. Right? Then I'm going to go left. How many? 4. I'm going to go left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how I do just dots? Right? And then I'll put a big dot. So I go up 1. I don't like the big whoop, 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 whoop. You can do that if you like. But I like just putting dots. It's quicker. Okay? Alright, so this is our slope. We can draw our line. But what I'm trying to show you is it can go either way. And I want you getting used to going both ways. Okay? When you go both ways, it just shows, like sometimes you're not going to be able to go one way. One way it's going to be off the chart, right? So if you're used to going both ways, that way if you can't go one direction with it, you always can go the other direction. Does that make sense? Because sometimes you're going to be way up here, right? And you're going to go up 8. And you're like, wait a minute, I can't go up 8. It doesn't exist. It's not on this graph that they gave me. Oh, but I can go down 8. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to prepare you for. Is a lot of tests. You won't be able to go one direction with it. All right? So the next one. If it says m equals negative 1 over 4, what is negative 1 and up or down? Is that up or down? Down. So that equals down 1, okay? And then what's 4? Right? 4, okay? So that means I go down from here? Well, sure, you could, but then we'd just be back at the same spot. So go from your starting spot. Now, a lot of students start right here from the origin. No. No, no, no. Your starting point, B, Always go back to your starting point, then to your slope. So down 1, boom, and right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my point. Okay? And draw your line. And that's it. Okay? We have everything in there. Definition of slope, definition of y equals mx plus b. Here's the thing on the quiz, okay? On the quiz, for you to be doing, all right, this work well, we got to do one thing very important. All right? We're going to do the work. We're going to show our steps, right? Because I noticed about 80% of you who turned in the final did both sides, which is really good. I'm proud of you for that. Okay? Because at midterm, not even a quarter of you did both sides. Okay? I'll tell you one thing though. About a quarter of my geometry students only did one side at midterm. But at the final, I didn't have a single final that didn't have both sides. Not a single final. Okay? So, that's where I want us to be. But we got to take it that step more. We got to explain this in words. So that next step is you're going to give me a writing of what you did. Right? You're going to explain what you did. Okay? You're going to go, okay, I was given this equation. I wanted to move the x variable. Notice I said variable. We want to use those math vocabularies, okay? I'm going to move the x variable along with the 12 or the number by adding the opposite using SAD map, if you want to say that, right? That's okay. Using my order of operations in reverse. However you want to say that, okay? And then you're going to say, okay, and then continuing with that concept of my order of operations in reverse, I'm going to divide by 12. Now, if you don't say continuing with the order of operations, I get it. But you want to use as many big words as you can. So if you can say I divided by the first coefficient of y, that would be remarkable. Okay? The reason why I'm saying this is that a lot of you are 10th graders. Okay? You're going to be taking the state test. I had algebra students taking that state test, and they missed the state test by 200 points. And you think that's a lot, but it's not. That was my lowest scores. They would miss by about 200. Okay, I had students very, very bright, miss it by 8 points. But yet on the ACT, get like a 24 or 27. Okay, which is really good. So why are they failing the state test? Because they don't do this. So this step right here is like a rough draft. And then you got to give your essay. If you don't give the essay, you will not pass that state test. But here's the trick. If you do your rough draft, it's really easy to write the essay, right? All you got to do is say what you did. Okay, yeah, okay, I subtracted 12. I added 3x to both sides. I then divided by negative 12 to get y alone. So then I could use the property of y equals mx plus b and the definition of slope to solve the slope and the y-intercept. Notice, those are simple little words. As soon as you say y-intercept, slope, right? These things, it sounds simple, right? But that changes your score from a 2 to a 4, from 50% to 100%. You see what I'm saying? And now you just made up that 200 points. Because when you're down 200, we're talking about 3,500 points. That's only 2 out of 35. You have 35 questions on the first test. You have 27 questions on the second test, or something like that. I don't know, because I don't get to look at the test, but it's something like that, right? Okay, so it's about 35 and 35. But just because you get the problems right doesn't mean jack. You're still going to fail that test, because you've got to explain, not only show your work, you have to explain it, prove it, and explain it in words. If you don't do that, you will not pass that state test. But if you do, you will. You can be the first algebra student at this school to pass state test this year. And I'm telling you, this is all it takes. Write the damn essay. I'm praying. So this Wednesday on your quiz, I'm going to make sure you write that essay. And it's simple, just like I said. I added 12 and 3 to, I subtracted 12 and added 3x to both sides. I divided by negative 12. I got it in the form of y equals mx plus b. I used the slope and y-intercept formula or definition to find the starting point, which is the y-intercept. And from the y-intercept, I was able to graph it using the slope. Boom, done. That's your essay. And you pass. Okay? Questions? All right.